Hi, I'm Jayme, and today I'm going to lead you through a brief tutorial on how to do Navasana, or boat pose. So boat pose does require quite a bit of core strength. What happens sometimes is the hip flexors get a little dominant, so we're going to talk about a few ways on how to make sure that we're doing the pose in what's leading toward an effortless sort of way. Now, I like to work with a block, and I suggest that you do too, just while you're practicing this, because another aspect of the pose is this idea of midline, where we really activate the inner legs. And it's easy for the legs to get kind of floppy, but if we put a block between the knees, for example, then we're forced to remember that aspect. And there's always a lot of things going on in yoga poses, so if we can give ourselves an actual reminder of one thing, it lets us be able to focus on other things. So we'll get to the block in just a second. I want to talk now about the foundation of the pose, which is on the pelvis. It's a seated pose. Now, if you just sit here with me and hold on to the back of your thighs, I want you to just roll your hips back toward the back of your yoga mat so that your lower back gets quite rounded and even your upper back gets rounded. Your shoulders come forward, and you can kind of feel where this is it's not very integrated, right? This is the default of where a lot of people will go, simply because the body's always going to try to find the easiest route. But if we want to do this in a really aligned and beneficial way, what we need to really focus on is rolling the hip points forward so that the lower back finds its natural inward curve. And then that needs to be supported. It has to be supported now by some abdominal work. So pull your belly in and then hold on to the back of your thighs again. And just notice here, just by shifting your pelvis slightly, you go from rounding your whole back body, just by bringing the hips forward, suddenly the back goes into its proper alignment, the lower back that is, the belly hugs in, and then you can get more lift through the back line of your body, and you have the ability to bring your shoulder blades onto your back, and everything's very, very neutral and supported. So this is where we want the grounding in the pelvis, not on the sacrum, not even fully onto the sitting bones, but really just between those 2 points. Okay, so let's play with this first one using the prop. So put the block between your knees and squeeze it so it'll stay in place. Okay, find that hover point on your pelvis that we just talked about, where you're required to use your abdominals, where you have to lift up the back line of your body, and then keep all of that. Now you can lean your upper body back, but don't shift your hips back. Keep your hips rolling forward, and then fly your toes off of your mat so that your heels are in line with your knees. Okay, you can let go of your thighs and reach your fingertips forward. Squeeze your knees together. Okay, notice it's a struggle here, right? We really want to collapse the back body, collapse the core, but keep reaching your fingertips forward, lifting the sides of your chest forward, staying open here and long through your neck. Okay, and then you can bring everything back down. You can put the prop off to the side. Again, I do recommend, if you're working diligently on this pose, to work with the block. Okay, but we'll try it without this time. So we'll imagine we have the block, squeeze the knees in together, rock the hip points forward, pull the belly in, and then take the head of your arm bones back, and notice if you're shrugging your shoulders, just let them relax. And then find your boat pose again. You can lift your heels up to the height of your knees. You can release your hands, palms up, because that creates an external rotation in the upper arms. And from here, you might even start to work to straight legs. Okay, but be mindful, right? If the legs start to straighten while you end up on the back of your pelvis, it's no longer really boat pose. Okay, so again, everything's in alignment. As long as you can sustain that alignment, you could start to open up the back of your legs. Okay, and then from there, you could play toward low boat, where you lower your heels, you lower your upper body. And I find the reach forward of the fingertips is really useful here in helping me keep my core pulling down, my ribs pulling down. And there's little bits of play that you can do here, so you could pulse that a couple of times and really work on your core strength. There's also twists you could do, so if you had like an imaginary ball, or you could even use your own block here to do little twists from side to side, and that will invite a little bit more work for your obliques. Okay, and know that if you're not quite ready to lift your toes off your mat, like if you find you get everything into place right here, and then every time you lift your feet, you lose everything, then don't worry about it. Come onto your tippy toes and stay there.
Use the grip on your thighs to help you roll your hips forward, pull your waistline back, and open up your chest. Like I can already feel this is still quite a bit of effort just as it is, right? The important thing is not to wish that things are different than they are, but to really embrace where you're at and to have faith that things will change. They always do, right? So eventually, someday, you go from here, and then your toes lift up. And this is where you work for a while, still holding your thighs. And then maybe one day, you don't require the use of your hands. And then maybe one day, the knees can straighten. Maybe even you get to the point where you lift your arms up. Okay? It's all stages, it's all progress. The important thing, again, is to just work with where you're at in earnest and trust that things will shift. You are stronger than you think you are, I promise. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, my name is Jayme. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.